It is revolution time. American Revolution note card review. I'm going to teach everything. All you need is a blank piece of paper, something to write with, and a bunch of note cards. Take out your first note card. First note card, I want you to title it French and Indian War. The F and I War. Title that, title that, title that. Once you got that done, go to the other side, maybe the back side, maybe to the side if you're using note card paper. Let's go. First thing, it was between 1754 and 1763. It was a war fought between European rivals. France and Great Britain, man. France and Great Britain hate each other. They have hated each other in the past up to this point. They have fought war after war in Europe, and now they're fighting war after war in America. All right. It was sparked in part, there was many reasons, but in part by competition over land in the Ohio River Valley. This is in the Pittsburgh area. France was building forts. Great Britain said, we want that land. That is our land. France said, no, that is our land. And as they fought, they collided with one another and sparked a gigantic war called the French and Indian War, because the Indians helped the French, also called the 7 Years' War. Last thing, and I know I'm blocking a little bit, so I'm going to read this very clearly. Now, France is going to lose. So the French loss resulted in Great Britain gaining former French territory. Great Britain gained former French territory. And Spain also gained former French territory. Spain got the land that was west of the Mississippi River. Great Britain got all the land on the other side of the Appalachian Mountains to the Mississippi River, including a tremendous amount of land in Canada. Beautiful. So the last one that I might be blocking is French loss resulted in Great Britain gaining former French territory. Spain also gained former French territory. Are we good? 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 Pause me if you're not. If you ain't good, let's go to the next one. Or if you are good, let's go to the next one. Proclamation line of 1763. The Proclamation line of 1763. The British believed, the British colonists, we should jump over the Appalachian Mountains and get all that new land that we have won in the French and Indian War. And the British said, no way. It was an imaginary north-south line along the Appalachian Mountains. So picture the mountains in a line that goes over the mountains, which says you cannot cross the mountains and take the land from the Native Americans. You see, it was designed to prevent westward movement of colonists. Don't go west. And the theory was, if you go west, you're going to run in to Native Americans. I don't know, Pocahontas maybe. Maybe Pocahontas will be angry. So they drew the proclamation line. That's like, maybe they should call her Proclahontas. Draw the line, don't go over there. Because the thing is, you're not to move west of the line, and the line is over the Appalachian Mountains, in order to not cause conflict with Native Americans. And the British felt that'd be too costly to intervene. So this last line is the colonists were not to move west of the line, the Appalachian Mountains, in order to not cause conflict with Native Americans, which the British felt would be too costly to intervene. If you go over there, it's going to cause a war with Native Americans, which we are going to have to bail you out from, and that's going to cost a lot of money, so we don't want to do it. All right? Excellent. Pause me if you're not good. If you're not good. If you're good, let's go. Stamp Act. So just think about this. The colonists are happy because they won the French and Indian War and they get all this land, but that war was very expensive. And now Great Britain is wanting to get money back, money that they spent on the war. So they come up with the Stamp Act. It was in 1756. It was from Great Britain. It was a British tax on many printed materials, man, newspapers, playing cards, licenses. A lot of printed materials required a stamp to be put on it, which was a direct tax on the colonists. This is designed to generate revenue to help pay Great Britain's French and Indian War debt. Great Britain really thought that it wouldn't be a problem to tax the colonies. They pay the tax, they get the money back, it's all good. Now, colonists were angered because they were not represented in Parliament. They would say, no taxation without representation. It's not that they were against being taxed. They were against being taxed by Great Britain because nowhere in Parliament did the colonies have any representation. So the colonists were angered because they were not represented in Parliament, and they said no taxation without representation. Good, great, awesome. Pause me if you're not good. Let's do another one. I think one more, and then we'll do a little quiz. I want you to title this one, Boston Massacre. The old Boston Massacre. To give you the background, the Stamp Act was passed. Great Britain would repeal the Stamp Act and do it again with a group of taxes called the Townshend taxes, many common goods, including tea. Now, while the Townshend taxes were in effect, in 1730, British troops fired on and killed anti-British demonstrators to the colonists. 3 died on the scene. Okay? Great Britain felt bad. Of course they felt bad. They felt bad for killing the colonists. So they responded by repealing all Townshend taxes except the tax on tea. The Townshend Act included paint, included lead, many common products, including tea. And now they get rid of all the taxes, but they kept the tax on tea. This was a reaction to the Boston Massacre. Cool? Cool. All right, very good, very good, very good. It's quiz time. Now, this is very important. What I need you to do, oh, this is so tragic. Pause me. Unpause me. Okay, good. I need you to take out a blank piece of paper. I want you to study the cards. Set your timer for like 2 minutes. Flip them over. Try to memorize every single word on the other side of the card, okay? When the timer's up, then unpause me, and I'm going to show you a video, or I'm going to show you a series of questions I want you to write the answers to, and you're going to have to turn these questions into me, all right? Don't throw them away. Do the quizzes and turn them into me, all right? So, the question, I guess, is, what are we going to listen to? Are we going to listen to opening? Oh, no. That's the one everybody, we hate that one. How about Hillside? Yeah, I like Hillside better. Let's go Hillside. Hey, I want you to be doing this while you're studying. I'll be reading The Imperial Presidency. Fabulous. Take out a piece of paper. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I'm going to put the question up. You do not have to write the question. You just have to write the answer to the question. Number 1, the French ceded, this is a fancy word meaning to give. They gave away tremendous amount of territory to the British and the Spanish as a result of which war? Which war happened, and then the British and the Spanish gave away a ton of land. What you got? All right. Number 2. Why did the American colonists protest against the Stamp Act? Like, what was the reason they didn't like the Stamp Act? Was it because it was a tax? Was it another reason? What was the reason the colonists protested against the Stamp Act? Got it. Number 3, the blank of blank prevented the western movement of settlers over the Appalachian Mountains. So what I mean by that is what was the name of, and then what was the year? That's a hard one, Spice. Well, you know what, Spice? you get that one right on the YouTube video, you do incredibly well on the test. Got it. Great, good, awesome, love it. Number 4. After the Boston Massacre, Great Britain repealed all Townshend Acts except the tax on what? They repealed all Townshend taxes except the tax on what? Okay. Here we go. Ready. Number 1, the French ceded a tremendous amount of territory to the British and the Spanish as a result of the French and Indian War. 2, why did the American colonists protest the Stamp Act? Because they said they were not represented in Parliament. They said, no taxation without representation. 3, the Proclamation of 1763 prevented the western movement of settlers over the Appalachian Mountains. The Proclamation of 1763. Number 4, after the Boston Massacre, Great Britain repealed all Townshend Acts except the tax on tea. Except the tax on tea, which will create problems in the future. All right, how did you do? 4 out of 4, 3 out of 4. You're good. It's going to be easier on the test because the test is going to be multiple choice. Let's go. New card. Boston Tea Party, huh? The old Boston Tea Party. Kind of reminds me, what comes before Part B? Part A. 1773, the Sons of Liberty dumped tax tea into Boston Harbor. This was a protest against the tea tax. Okay? So a group of colonists jumped on board, took tea, and dumped it. Great Britain responds with the coercive acts. They were called the Intolerable Acts by the colonists who felt they were intolerable, which dramatically stripped them of their rights. They shut down the Port of Boston, made dramatic changes to their government and justice system, set up the Quartering Act, which meant that colonists had to provide food and shelter for British troops. Okay? So, here's the deal. Short version. Colonists dumped tea, and the British hated that, so they responded by punishing them with the coercive/intolerable acts. All right? Very good, very good, very good. Let's do another one. First Continental Congress. The idea of colonial unity. Colonial unity. Here we go. In 1774, it was established in reaction to the coercive acts. Remember the Boston Tea Party, then the coercive acts. And it's written there too, which were a punishment for the Boston Tea Party. All colonies except Georgia sent a representative. It was the first time that most of the colonies acted together. Now, it makes sense that Georgia wouldn't go there because of Loyalist support, but it was the first time that most of the colonies acted together. They didn't do a lot. They said that they would meet later, and when they would meet later, it would be very significant. But for now, it's just an idea of colonial unity, which is very important. Lexington and Concord. Lexington and Concord. Little first shots fired. In 1775, the first shots fired of the American Revolution. Minutemen in Massachusetts fought a brief skirmish with British troops. It wasn't a big battle, but it got the war going. Hey, and once you get the war going, you know who you get loose? That's right. Bobo got loose. And once Bobo gets loose, everybody goes monkey. Let's do another one. Write this down. Study your. Please write study your. Study your road to revolution chart. Okay? As part of getting ready for the test, that chart that we made in class, Action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. Study all of that, because that is going to show up on this test. And I tell you what, I'm only going to tell you one time. It's quiz time. Quiz time, quiz time, quiz time, quiz time. So, study it. I think 2 minutes. I like 2 minutes. And I want you to, I don't know, should we go with Sencha? I kind of like that. Or maybe Slow Rise. I like Slow Rise. I'm going to set mine for Slow Rise. And you guys will be studying your cards. I'll be reading the what ifs of American history. Whew. The what ifs of American history. The what if you get a 100 on this test. Here we go. Take a piece of paper. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here you go. Number 1. Order these events from first to happen to last to happen. So put them in chronological order. Which one happened first, then second, then third, then fourth? All right. Boston Massacre, Townsend Acts, Stamp Act, or the First Continental Congress. I'll read my book while you order those. Okay, number 2. Where did the American Revolution begin? Like, where were the first shots fired of the American Revolution? What you got? 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 3. How did Great Britain respond to the Boston Tea Party? What did they come up with as a response to the Boston Tea Party? Number 4. What should you study? What should you study? Pause me. Pause me if you're not good. If you're good, here we go. All right. Order these events from first to happen to last to happen. First thing we got here is the Stamp Act. The Stamp Act has to go first. It was the first major tax. Now, they said they repealed the Stamp Act because the colonists boycotted it, and Great Britain said we could do it again. So they're going to do it again with the Townsend Acts. The Townsend Acts are next. These are attacks on common goods, including tea. Well, the next event, the Boston Massacre, happened. Once we have the Boston Massacre, Great Britain feels so bad, they get rid of all the taxes from Townsend Acts except the tax on tea. Then the Sons of Liberty in 1773 dump all the tea, Boston Tea, Part Tea. And so Great Britain responds with the coercive acts, which the colonists call the intolerable acts, and then the colonists form the First Continental Congress as a response. So it goes Stamp Act, Townsend Acts, Boston Massacre, First Continental Congress. Number 2, where did the American Revolution begin? At Lexington and Concord. The first shots fired of the American Revolution happened at Lexington and Concord. Number 3, how did Great Britain respond to the Boston Tea Party? They responded by issuing the coercive acts, or the intolerable acts, as we said in number 4. What should you study? Please study your chart. The chart, the Road to Revolution chart we did in class. Also study these note cards, okay? Let's do another set. Let's do another set, take a quiz, do another set, take a quiz, and we'll be done. I want you to call this the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment. Tell you what, I get sized for the Enlightenment. So I sometimes have to put on my professor jacket, my tweed, just talk about it. Here we go. There's a European movement during the 17th and 18th centuries which saw the development of new ideas about the rights of people and their relationship to their rulers. The rights of people and their relationship to their rulers. The Enlightenment was about a number of topics. There's Enlightenment literature, Enlightenment music, Enlightenment philosophy. In this case, we're talking about the philosophy of government. Okay? Hey, that's it. Easy card, easy card, easy card, easy card. All right, let's do another one. John Locke. John Locke. He is our Enlightenment philosopher that we need to know about. All right, Enlightenment philosopher whose ideas influenced the American belief in self-government. There is nobody else from the Enlightenment that had a bigger impact on America than John Locke. He's a Euro from the Enlightenment, okay? He said all people have natural rights. His natural rights were life, liberty, and property. So you can just write natural rights with an arrow, life, liberty, and property, okay? He said all power resides in the people, and they enter a social contract with the rulers, okay? It's not a written contract. It's kind of like, it's kind of an idea. People follow the rules, but the ruler protects people's natural rights. So the people have a job and the ruler has a job. The people have to follow the rule, but the king has to protect the people's natural rights. Okay? If the ruler doesn't protect the people's natural rights, the people can overthrow or abolish the government. But the power is in the people, and if they feel like their natural rights aren't being met, then they have some serious power they can respond with. Okay? All right. Pause me. Pause me. If you ain't good, pause me. The last two, I know I'm going to be blocking you, are people follow the rules, ruler protect people's natural rights, and if the ruler doesn't protect the people's natural rights, the people can overthrow, abolish the government. Okay? Let's do another one. Thomas Paine. This one will be shorter. T-Pain was an English immigrant whose pamphlet was called Common Sense, challenged the rule of the king by listing many grievances against the king. Grievances is a fancy word for complaints. Complaints about the king's taxes, the king's coercive acts, the king's policies. All right? Common Sense contributed to a growing sentiment for independence in the colonies. People believed that they should be independent after they read Common Sense. It portrayed the king in a very poor and a very negative way. Okay? Declaration of Independence. Write this at the top in the title card by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson is the one who wrote the Declaration of Independence. You gotta know where he's from. Where's he from? Here we go. Write this one down. Quote, all men are created equal. That is an important line from the Declaration of Independence. This line will be used later in American history because it doesn't mean all women or all African Americans or all Indians, but it will be expanded upon later. Next one. There are unalienable rights that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And then write parentheses, Locke. Those ideas directly came from John Locke. So these are all the quotes in the document which declared our independence from Great Britain. You ready for some more Locke? Deriving their just powers, meaning the government derives their just powers from the consent of the governed. Deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Power to the people. Okay? Oh, that's on there twice. Ignore that. Ignore the second one. Ignore the second one. Two more. You ready? It is the right of the people to alter or abolish the gov. That is Locke, and that's social contract. All right? And then here's the last part. Jefferson listed many grievances against the king. That comes from Thomas Paine. So there's a whole section which is like all John Locke stuff. And then there's all the complaints against the king. And those many of them come from Thomas Paine. I know what you're thinking, how much just remember this. Don't you worry, I just thought of a premium way first. Always remember this. Thomas Paine said the king was a pain. Premium or non-premium? Premium. Thank you. Pause me if you're not good. Pause me if you're not good. If you're good, here goes the next one. Lasting principles of the Declaration of Independence. Lasting principles of the Declaration of Independence. Now, I want you to put right up here. You know what? I'm gonna add it in. Write this in. Let's put in things which will be used later. You got me? And maybe a little asterisk there. I like that. That makes me feel good. Let's see. Where are you at? I don't want you to look like that. Display settings. Duplicate. Where are you at? There we go. Things which will be used later. Okay? So, I guess what I'm trying to say is the Declaration of Independence was incredibly revolutionary when it came out in 1776. But, over time, even more revolutionary ideas and rights get extended, and they use the Declaration of Independence as a basis for that. So, one right here is political participation. Oh my gosh, that's obviously spelled wrong. Equality needs to be spelled right. That's so ugly. Sorry. Equality, E-Q-U-A-L-I-T-Y. So we're going to have more equality in political participation. This means extending the franchise, voting rights for African Americans, for women, for young folks, upholding due process of the law, and providing free public education. These things didn't happen right away. They weren't happening so much in 1776. Next one, political participation, liberty. Abolishing slavery and extending civil rights to women and other groups. Remember, slavery is still happening in America when the Declaration of Independence is issued, and obviously that would be contrary to the ideas of all men are created equal. Civil rights were extended to other groups and women as well. Finally, economic participation, pursuit of happiness. This is the regulating of the free enterprise system which we have, promoting economic opportunity, and protecting property rights. You might want to give me a little pause and make sure that you write all these down. But I don't want you to stress over these too much, because this is going to be a lot of information to handle. Just know this. The Declaration of Independence was very revolutionary. But in the many years, in the centuries after it was issued, even more big ideas, big concepts, big rights were extended, like getting rid of slavery and giving voting rights to more folks, protecting property rights. This is like the list of all the stuff that gets extended. The lasting principles of the Declaration of Independence, all right? It's quiz time. You know it's quiz time. Man, I got the new software on my iPhone. I don't know how to make this thing work. I got it to work. You know what to do. You're going to pause me now. You're going to study me for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. We listen to waves. You know what? I'm not even going to hit any other button. I love the way that sounds. We are going to set it to waves. 2 minutes. You know I'm hitting the what-ifs of American history. God, I love history. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. This is the penultimate quiz, the second to last quiz we're going to take. Number 1. What was the name of the European movement which saw new ideas about the rights of people and their relationship to their rulers? This overall movement must have had a name. And what was the name? Number 2, the social contract theory of government, with the people being born with natural rights, is the idea of which Enlightenment philosopher? What was the name of the dude from the Enlightenment who came up with these wild ideas? Cool. 3, in common sense, Thomas Paine enlisted many of the blanks against the King of England. In Common Sense, Thomas Paine listed many of the blanks against the King of England. Number 4. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? And which two individuals did he heavily borrow from when writing the Declaration of Independence? Who wrote the DOI? And when he did, he borrowed the ideas of two people. Who were they? We good? Good. Number 1, the name of the European movement was the Enlightenment. The answer number 1 is the Enlightenment. 2, the social contract theory of government with the people being born with natural rights is the idea of which European philosopher or Enlightenment philosopher? That is the idea of John Locke. The answer number 2 is John Locke. Number 3, in Common Sense, Thomas Paine listed many of the grievances against the King of England. Lists many of the grievances against the King of England. And 4, who wrote the Declaration of Independence? Thomas Jefferson. And the two individuals he heavily borrowed on was John Locke and Thomas Paine. John Locke for the natural rights, Thomas Paine for the grievances against the king. All right, here we go, baby. Last section. Let's finish strong. Number 1, George Washington. Let's talk about the man, El Hombre. The commander of the American Army, they were called the Continental Army. George Washington inspired his army with his great leadership skills. He took command of the army. He marched with them. He lived with them. He gave inspiring speeches. And a key with Washington is that he kept the army together, in part because he avoided situations which threatened the destruction of his army. He knew you had to keep the clock tick, 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 tick. You had to keep the clock ticking because the war did not have popular support in Great Britain. That's it. Right here, last thing. Washington realized the importance of keeping his army together because the war did not have popular support in Great Britain. Great Britain didn't want to fight a war against their own people. There was much controversy about it. So as long as you keep the war going and going and going and going, the British people will eventually give up. Okay? Pause me if you ain't good. But if you're good, I'm going. Here we go. Battle of Saratoga. 1777, it was a major American victory, which helped lead France to believe that the U.S. could win. The United States could win after a huge victory at the Battle of Saratoga. And in 1778, 1 year later, the Treaty of Alliance with France is negotiated by Ben Franklin. France is willing to help America with the Army and Navy, in part because they are rivals with Great Britain. France hates Great Britain, so they would be so down to help out to beat the British. And the Battle of Saratoga was a big turning point for that. Battle of Yorktown, Virginia. The final battle of the American Revolution in 1789. Yes, who you just heard in the background was the French Navy. Americans win with the help of the French Navy, who blocked British access to the sea. The Brits could not access the sea because of the American Navy. Okay? All right. Pause me if you ain't good. Pause me if you ain't good. But if you're good, let's go for the last one. Should we listen to, let's see, we can listen to Radiate. Or we can listen to Summit. I agree. Let's do Summit. Set Summit. I'm going to go back to an old favorite of mine. That would be the imperial presidency. 2 minutes. Study, 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 study. Pause me. All right. Let's go with last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, number 1. George Washington inspires his army with great blank skills. He avoided any situation which threatened the blank of his army. Fill in the blanks with those 2 words. Number 2. What was the turning point of the American Revolution? This would be the battle which caused the nation of blank to consider helping the Americans. Which nation? Number 3, last one. What was the last battle of the American Revolution? Which nation helped the American army at this battle? Where did it all end, and which nation helped America with this? You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's go. Number 1, George Washington inspired his army with great leadership skills. He had great leadership skills. He avoided any situation which threatened the destruction of his army. He kept the army together. Number 2, what was the turning point of the American Revolution? Well, of course, we listened to epic turning point music. And that was the Battle of Saratoga, because it helped the nation, it caused the nation of France to consider helping the Americans, which, with the Treaty of Alliance negotiated by Ben Franklin, that indeed did happen. Number 3, what was the last battle of the American Revolution? Battle of Yorktown. Premium way to remember it. It starts with a Y. Y is towards the end of the alphabet. Premium or non-premium? Premium! What nation is that? That is the nation of France, which helped the American army at this battle. Can I say one more thing? I'm going to dig into my PowerPoint slides. I'm going to show you a graph. And we're not going to make a note card for it. I just want to just show it to you, okay? Display settings, duplicate view, and here we go. With the Treaty of Paris 1783, that's the one that ended the American Revolution after the Battle of Yorktown. Yorktown's down here. I want you to watch this. Oops, go away. Okay. The United States of America gets all this territory, all the way from here to here. Do you know what river this is? That is the Mississippi River. So from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River is now United States territory. It used to just be British colonists along the Appalachian Mountains. The French used to be over here. Then the French lost. So now Great Britain has this territory and the colonies, except the colonies beat Great Britain. So they get all that land. They get the land from the ocean to the Mississippi River, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi